POV Italian Cooking, where you see cooking from my point of view. In this video, once again, we are straying away from Italian cuisine and making a little bit of Indian cuisine. In the last episode, I made a roasted red pepper hummus. In this episode, we're going to be making a version of naan bread. Now, the reason I say a version of naan is you really need to have a tandoori oven to make traditional naan bread. Those ovens are super hot. Makes the bread really bubble up, give it that nice airy light texture. You can almost duplicate that using a screaming hot cast iron pan. It's a little different. This bread was good. I wouldn't call it naan bread, but it was a good flatbread. Went well with the hummus in the last episode, so let's get started.
We're going to take a look at the ingredients real quick for our naan bread. I have 2 1/4 cups of all-purpose flour, 1 teaspoon of sugar, 1 teaspoon of instant yeast, 1 tablespoon of olive oil, and 1/2 cup of Greek yogurt, and 1/2 cup of warm water. Now, first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to get my warm water and my yeast here in my mixer so that can start, getting ready. My yeast has to bloom. Sugar goes in as well. I'm going to take and just give that a quick little stir. Now there are 2 ingredients that I do not have out. They're actually ingredients to finish with. We're going to have some butter, some melted butter, and I'm going to crush some garlic and put it in with the butter so that way when our naan gets done we can brush it and add a little bit more flavor. Now this is instant yeast. It's just going to take a couple minutes to bloom. So my yeast is pretty much ready, just a couple minutes. So now we're going to get all this mixed together. Now first thing we're going to do, olive oil goes in. Now olive oil is a retardant to the growth of yeast. It's not going to really affect anything though. Put our Greek yogurt in. We're going to get this mixing. We're going to get this mixing now. Lock it in, put it on low. Let that paddle do its work here just for a second. Kind of break up that yogurt just a little bit. So you might be asking yourself, hey, your show's POV Italian Cooking. Why are you making naan? Well, I'm also going to be making some roasted red pepper hummus because I wanted to make something different. That's what I wanted. I'm actually recording an episode as well where I'm going to make what am I making? Chicken liver pate. That's the word I couldn't find. Making chicken liver pate because I thought that might be good on the naan as well. So this is a semi-Italian day of cooking. So I'm going to go ahead and mix my flour in. Pour that on in there. And we're going to let that all mix together. Let our paddle bit do its job. Then we're going to go to the dough hook. This should only take a minute here. This is a dough that I don't want to be particularly wet. Now, you've seen me make other bread doughs, and I always say wetter is better. And that is generally true when you're making a leavened bread or a bread that rises. This is going to rise, but I'm not too worried about it being very, very porous. Let's see what we got here. Boy, it looks awful dry, but I have to fight the urge to automatically pour water in it because, like I said, I want this to be a little bit drier than the breads I normally make because I am not making leavened bread. Alright, let's see what we got here. I think it's going to be alright. It's just going to take a couple minutes for it to come together. So let's go to our dough hook and let our dough hook do its work. I'm going to turn it on here about medium and see if it'll come together as a ball. Yeah, it's starting to come together. I'm going to let this mix for just once it comes together, I'll probably let it go for a couple minutes, just so that way I know it gets kneaded together. All of that yogurt gets kneaded into the dough. We still want it to be a nice, smooth dough. It's banging up against the side there, and it's driving me nuts. All right, so there we go, starting to come together. So we're going to let this go for, I don't know, a couple minutes. So I think my dough is ready. Hook's been doing this job here for just a couple minutes before I go messing with that dough. I really want to grab that dough and really work it, but I'm going to fight that urge. First thing I'm going to do here is take a nice bowl. This bowl's got a nice little lid to it, and I'm just going to put some olive oil in here. Kind of smear this around. Smear. Alright, good enough. Take this dough. Just going to knead it for a second. I want to make sure that the dough hook did its job, and you know what it did. I like that. I like the way it feels. Not overly sticky. Goes in our bowl. I'm going to put this lid on it. This is only going to have to rise for about an hour. So find a nice warm corner of your kitchen. Put the dough over there in that corner. Let her go for an hour.
So our naan dough has risen. I like that. I like that. I like that. All right. Let's get it over there. Let me put this bowl over here out of the way. Now what we want to do is cut this. I'll go ahead and just kind of roll it. I want to cut this into 8 pieces. So let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's about right. So what you see here, I'm just going to chop it up into about 8 semi-same pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There we go. That piece is small. Doesn't matter. All right. So now, hey, ho, ho. All right, I'm bored. I'm really hungry. That's why I'm kind of being like that. So now all we're going to do is we're going to roll this out a little bit flat. Like so. We're just going to roll that into pieces just about like that. Nice and wide. Down to, I don't know, how thick is that, would you say? It's not quite see-through. So I've got 8 pieces that I'm going to get rolled out. So what I did before I started on my dough is I chopped up some garlic and didn't worry about getting it too chopped up, smashed it, you know, got it clean, took the woody ends off of it, and then sliced up some butter, and I melted that in my microwave. Now the reason I did that is I want to brush this naan with some garlic butter once it gets done. Alright, this piece here still feels a little fat to me, so I'm gonna give it a couple more little rolls. Boom, good enough. That's narrow naan, we'll call it. That's narrow naan. I'm really hungry, so can't wait to get this done. We're gonna start with a small piece, because if we mess it up, then we're only out the small piece. And we'll see what happens. You guys always know that most of the time when I make a video, it is the first time that I've cooked that item. So that is definitely the case with homemade naan. This is the first time I've made this. I don't know if it's going to turn out. We're sure as heck going to find out. And we're going to find out right now. Alright, so I'm repositioned over at my stove. I've got my cast iron pan. This is my smaller cast iron pan. I have a great big one, but this is big enough. I put some vegetable oil in my pan, took a paper towel, kind of rubbed it around because I want to get the excess. What that vegetable oil is going to do is just going to keep our naan from sticking. Alright, let me see if my pan is getting hot. I have here my butter with some garlic in it. Somewhere I have a brush. We'll have that on the ready. So what I'm doing here, I've got to get my pan hot, hot, hot. You want it almost smoking hot, like you're going to, you know, sear a nice steak or something. So we're going to let that come up to temperature. My cast iron pan's been heating up. I've got the smallest piece of naan I have. We're just going to lay it right in there. Kind of hear it. I don't know if you can quite hear it sizzle or not. Well, that's going to bubble up, or it should bubble up, because, you know, naan's got those nice bubbles, but then again, a tandoor oven's really, really hot. My stove may not be hot enough. We're going to let that go for a minute or two, and then we're going to check it and see if it's ready, and then we'll turn it over and go from there. And boy, I hope this works, because I'm hungry. Bread is the one food you're going to find in every culture. There are Italian flatbreads. I could have went with one of the Italian flatbreads. I didn't because I like naan. And if you look, you can start to see you can see some little bubbles forming right here and over in here. So we've got some little bubble action going. Okay, that's got to cook longer on that side. I like naan. I wanted to give it a shot. Yeah, I don't have a tandoori oven, but hey, this is home cooking, and I wanted to see what would happen. It is starting to bubble. You can see I turned it over. This is the first time I've made this. I got to be more patient on the next piece. This I think will still be okay. It's just not going to be as good as I wanted it to be. So we're going to let this go for another minute. Just kind of keep an eye on it. I mean, I really don't know because I haven't made this before. So my bread's been going. I'm going to say the optimal time is going to be about 2 minutes. Okay, so you can see it looks a little bit like naan. I didn't let it go long enough. We're going to let the second piece go longer. So I'm going to go ahead and let this go. I'm going to say 2 minutes. I have my heat up on 7 on my cast iron pan. So my first piece got done. I put a little bit of garlic butter on it. I think the right time is going to be 1 minute and 20 seconds. So I went ahead and I put in a couple more pieces of our naan, set my timer for 1 minute and 20 seconds, and we're going to see what happens. While I'm waiting on this naan to get done, we sacrificed this piece. It's all right. It's not naan. I put too much butter on it. It's good, don't get me wrong, but it is not, does not really taste like naan. We'll call this a pan-fried flatbread. Alexa, cancel. That's 1 minute and 20 seconds. So let's flip this and see what we got. Ooh, that looks a lot better. Ow! It's hot. 1 minute and 20 seconds might be a smidge too much. Alexa, set timer 1 minute. We're going to get this right. We're going to get it figured out. Check our naan. Looking pretty good. Alexa, cancel. So I can tell you my heat's up too high on my stove because I want the naan to be a little bit more, have some more cook time. So I've turned it down to medium heat. We'll let this go 5 or 10 more seconds here. I don't want it to get much darker than that. So what I'm going to do now is grab another couple pieces here that I think I can fit in the pan. I've got my heat turned down to medium now. Keep experimenting. We're going to get this right. So now we're going to let this go a minute, minute 20. It's been exactly 1 minute, so let's flip it. See, that's looking good. I think medium heat, 1 minute is the secret to success. Now, in a tandoori oven, it gets a lot more bubbly because a tandoori oven's steaming hot. Those folks know what they're doing. That's a little bit dark. So, you know, this is a really good experiment to do. I always say, don't be scared of failure. It's not like this is failure because I can tell you this is going to be good. This bread's still going to be really good to eat. I am going to make these these last 3 I got a little more thin here real quick before I put them on the grill. I'm going to go ahead and get all these finished. So I plated up some roasted red pepper hummus with our homemade naan. And, you know, in my mind, this is not naan. It is definitely, got a little hummus on the side there. It's definitely a pan-fried flatbread. I buy a lot of naan. We eat a lot of hummus. I like hummus. I like making hummus. So we eat a lot of naan that I buy at our local grocery, the prepackaged naan. And we've got a couple good Indian restaurants here in town. And so I have high expectations of my naan, and this is not that. This is pretty good. The roasted red pepper hummus, this is something I've made many times, and you know, kind of thought about making a video, almost did a couple times, but thought today, I want roasted red pepper hummus, and if I'm going to make it, I'm going to record it. Yeah, it's not Italian, but it's not far. I believe it's Greek. So that's, you know, it's next door. And this roasted red pepper is great. And again, I apologize for not having exact measurements. Follow the measurements that I was given while I was making it in the food processor, and that's going to get you pretty close. From there on out, just stop every now and then and taste it and adjust accordingly.
It's good.
After you make a couple batches, you'll find what you like and how to make it. For a home cook, somebody new, it's okay to experiment. as you cook things more and more and more, you're going to get a feel for it. You're going to know exactly, just really without even having to do too many measurements, how much of each ingredient goes in. And I'm pretty much to that point with hummus. I make it so much. This is good. I'm really hungry. So, with that, thank you so much for watching POV Italian Cooking, where today we made a little bit of Indian, or took an attempt at Indian, and then some Greek food. Don't forget to follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Google+, but most importantly, click that subscribe button in YouTube, share this video with your friends, and ciao.